Hey everybody, PatBenage here, the Evolution Coach, creator of the 6-Week Shift and the Inner Path, and author of this inspirational blog, SoulTalk. And want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Those of you that celebrate Christmas, if you celebrate something else, happy holidays. But today, since my blog happens to be coming out on Christmas Day, that's what I'm celebrating. And I'm actually today, because I've got my kids coming in this week, coming in tomorrow, I'm videoing this on Tuesday, which is kind of unusual for me to do it this early. But the nice thing is, well, I don't know if it's nice or not, but the interesting thing is that tonight, technically at 2:45 a.m. tomorrow morning, our local time here, is the winter solstice. That's the time when we start switching from becoming shorter days to becoming longer days. So from going into more darkness and coming out into more light. And so that's kind of going to be my theme a little bit today, is this whole time of transition. And I know I've kind of alluded to it over the last couple of weeks, just different things, but what is this time all about? And if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're going the opposite direction. You're going to go, and I don't know if it's the exact same time, but because I haven't looked at it, but you're going from the longest day, the most light, and beginning to go into less light. So it's going in the reverse direction. And in this northern hemisphere, when we do the winter solstice, what that's really about is we've actually been going in for the last 6 months. So we've been going in from the most light to the dimmest, the least amount of light for the last 6 months. And so it's been a time of inward travel. And I don't, it's not a whole big thing to me, but I see it as an opportunity to use those energies to focus our attention. So it gives us sort of a little support in our own process. Just a little support, so that it gives me this opportunity to take advantage of those energies that are around us to help us in our own journey. And so now what we're looking at again in this northern hemisphere is that sort of a birthing that's happening. And of course, Christmas Day, we celebrate the birth of Jesus. And as most of you know, if you've listened to me at all, I'm not Christian, although I grew up Catholic. But that doesn't make Jesus a less significant person historically to me. In fact, I think he becomes almost more significant to me the way I look at him now versus how I looked at him before. But you might think of this time frame as sort of the conception point. This is the time when the new life begins. We start getting more light, and so the new life that will show itself come spring from the earth and blossom into summer until it gets to fall, where it starts to recede again. It's a time of birthing. It's a time of all of this, not gestational, but this energy that's been put into going within, into looking inside and building up this energy that now wants to begin to express itself again. And so that's why I think it's, people started doing New Year's resolutions. I mean, it's the new year calendar-wise, but it's also in this time when the light is beginning to show again. And so we take advantage of this energy to express ourselves to a greater degree, more of our truth. And why I think it's become significant with celebrating also Christmas and the birth of Jesus, even though historically we know that Jesus was not born on Christmas Day. Sorry to be a spoiler for those of you that think so, but just do a little research and you understand that if any of what's true in the Bible about the story of Jesus's birth, as far as the historical timing goes, he wasn't born anywhere near December. Not anywhere near. So, but the reason that I feel like it's appropriate to celebrate Jesus along with this solstice and this birthing of new life is that he presented, in a way, a new way to that started in the Middle East area, but birthed into the Western culture. And it comes from before Christ. It comes from before that time. His teachings weren't new teachings. They're part of the same core teachings that have been passed down since, in my view, since before humanity, but certainly since the beginning of time. I think these teachings have been passed down by masters, living masters, over all of our existence, to teach us about who we are. And Jesus, one of the things that was powerful about what he taught versus some others is that he this idea that love ourselves, love your neighbor as yourself, which is essentially saying you should love yourself. So his message was really about love. And I think that was a message that in most cultures you didn't hear prior to that time, and not much since that time do you hear that message very often. And so my message around this time is to love yourself. We express at this time love for lots of other people, our family, our friends, and appreciation for life. And I think it's wonderful to celebrate life and to celebrate friends and to celebrate family and to celebrate the holidays and whatever you're celebrating. But I think don't forget to celebrate who you are. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate what a fantastic, amazing being you are. And I think we forget that and then we go into the new year thinking about all the things we want to improve about ourselves. And I think that's, there's some value in that, but I'm going to suggest that perhaps it might be a better resolution to celebrate all of your wonderful qualities in the coming year, to bring more focus and attention to the wonderful you that you are. And maybe I'll talk more about this next week, since next week's will come out on New Year's Day. But I think it's, it's important to celebrate you, to celebrate your life. We have, when we're growing up in this culture anyway, Christmas is a lot about getting presents. And so we celebrate that about ourselves. But as we get older, my experience, and I think a lot of people's experience, is that we celebrate more giving gifts than receiving. And I would, if any of you have a difficult time receiving gifts, I encourage you to let go of that. I've been that person. And I certainly don't want for much, because I live a simple life, but I appreciate the gifts that I get, because in a way they are an expression of love from the giver. And so I celebrate that, and I embrace that, and I appreciate that, and I celebrate my deserving that. So celebrate and understand that you deserve to be celebrated. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be gifted. And I just want to send out a big hug and a big, embrace that I love you all. I love you all. And some of you I've never met and probably never will. And some of you I know intimately. And I love you all. And I love you all differently, but I love you all equally. And, I think that's one of the keys to life. I think that's what Jesus taught us, is that to love all people, to turn the other cheek, to love your neighbor as yourself. You experience different ways that you love people, but love them equally. Love them unconditionally, because that's real love. And love yourself that way as well. And so celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself this season. Take some time to really, really celebrate who you are. Because I promise you, who you are is amazing. More amazing than you could possibly imagine. Ever. And take care. Enjoy your holiday. Merry Christmas. And we'll see you next week. Remember, live life from the inside out.